What the fuck?
It might have just been on your end. Hello, everybody.
What? It like skipped 2 and 1 for me too. What just happened? I'm so confused.
Yeah, it's been a couple days since our last one. You know what I mean? It's been a couple days.
Yeah, no, I suppose. It's just I'm a little tilted because I like in my countdown. We have a countdown on the program we use for the podcast, and I don't think I need to explain to all of you fine people listening how a countdown works. I'm sure most of you can do that at a 3rd grade level. Read backwards from like 10 to fucking 1. Mine went from 6 to 7. And then it just skipped 2 and 1. I'm kind of tilted right now.
Oh, David, I think we have to drop Riverside. I think we have to find another platform. It's just like this fucking thing.
The money I spent on this fucking
shit. This isn't working out, man. It's just not working out. Like
no
platform should have a countdown that counts up. That's fucking simple math. Chris, our guest today, don't you agree?
Yeah, I got no answers though. I'm sorry.
I swear to God.
David, it's 2 against 1.
The
people have spoken.
All right, I can't.
This is a people's republic of podcasts.
Well, that's another deposit that I'm not going to get back.
Oh,
that's 2 now at this point.
The people have spoken, David.
I don't even want to look at my goddamn credit card bill. Dennis already started. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Double D Experience. This time with a C. We're joined. The Double Ds are joined by a C today. This time, what do you have to say? You have a problem with that too?
No. My autistic brain thought like, oh my god, we're the CDC, but I forgot we're 2 Ds instead of C's.
I was telling Chris the other night, and you remember like PEMDAS? Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Like when you learn like the proper notations or order. Well, I came up with a new one. It's called PEM. It's called PEM. What did I call it again? PEMRAS. Chris, do you remember what I called it?
I think you gotta refresh my memory.
Please excuse my retarded ass son.
Oh man, it's all coming back to me. Yeah.
Well, tonight, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us as always to the Double D Experience. We actually, Dennis, I'm impressed with us. How long have we did the intro like in the first 2 minutes. We never do that.
David, I'm not easily impressed. The day that we can get that shit to 30 seconds, I'll be actually impressed.
It's typical Chris and typical Double D fashion. Me and Dennis usually, I don't know, it's about like dicks or farts or whatever it is that we just have on the brain as soon as we come in. We usually don't do the intro until legit like 8 minutes into the podcast, but I guess traditions are made to be broken and repaired again, and then broken again, and then crazy glued and also duct taped at the same time until like grandma's ashes are just leaking out of the fucking vase. You don't want to get it to that point, but
I have a question.
What's your question, Dennis?
I'm gonna put like a little break to your train right now, David. I have a question for our guest, Chris. Now, this is important because this is gonna dictate whether you come back on here or not. I'm joking, but tits or ass?
Oh my God! Can we
shut up, David?
Can we say who Chris is first?
No.
Can we?
I mean, honestly, it's the easy answer is ass, but like. Tits are something different for me, I guess. You know what I mean? I don't know.
So it depends on the time of day, I guess?
Not the time of day.
Like sometimes you're thinking tits, sometimes
it's just sometimes when you think tits, you're just like, okay, yeah, I just want like, big fat tits. But like, it's not like that in my case. It's, I don't know. I appreciate a nice pair of tits regardless of size. And I feel like a lot of times that question just assumes, would you rather have big tits or big ass?
Which is, I think, definitely a misnomer to that question because everyone just thinks like, whichever one you prefer, it's kind of like, oh, I just want them like big. It's like, no, like to all you ladies out there, no, that's not what that means. Sometimes we just have a preference as to which direction your body is facing.
Jeez. No, whatever Dennis, your body hot orientation. Girls only hot girls need to have huge goddamn titties. If they are smaller than like an E, well, I'm sorry, you're ugly. Just accept that. It's just the way it is.
But sometimes then like the other part of them does like kind of balance it out, Because like, sometimes a girl may have like legit no titties and her ass might be huge. So
yeah,
there's always that too.
It fucking varies.
Although I gotta say though, in terms of that whole, let's say 2 variations, like either or, like I think it really does it's a lot more disappointing when a girl has, let's say, big tits, right?
Sure.
But then as soon as she turns around and her ass is like a washboard, like something just dies in me a little bit, you know? Like I think that would kind of go with anybody. It's like, oh, okay, yeah. And then as soon as you turn around, you just like, and she can't even see like the disappointment in your face where you're like, yeah, I think we should see other people.
I'm going to be real with you. I find it medically fascinating when anyone's ass is that small. Personally.
Medically fascinating?
Yeah, seriously. Like, not even just like in a sexual thing. Because, like, humans' asses are bigger than most creatures' asses. And I think there's some sort of cushiony sex thing to that. I'm pretty sure they're designed that way by whatever fucking evolutionary higher power you believe in. So, you know, wash your way off the backboard when you're doing the dirty Dublin doodler with a lady on both ends. So, I think they're designed that way for a reason. So when anybody, like, has an ass that tiny, it just makes pretty much no sense to me. Like, if my ass is bigger than a girl's, and I'm kind of cheeked up, I'm not gonna lie. It's not gonna make any sense. Maybe it's an ego thing.
I hate you. I hate you so
thing at
much.
the end of the day as well. I mean, I measured my dick last night, right? For no reason at all besides the fact I'm just like, I'm really fucking hard right now. If there was ever a time to get like an accurate assessment, let's go ahead and do this. And I'm disappointed to say, I think I was like half an inch smaller than what I originally thought I was, and I don't know if it's just, I don't know if there's some sort of medical thing and going like a year in quarantine, be like,
David.
wow, oh, dude, did your dick get smaller?
David,
Might have.
you want to know something?
What's up?
We all think we're bigger than we actually are.
No, see,
no, that's a guy's plight. It's true though. Every one of us thinks we're bigger than we actually are until we get that fucking ruler and we have to force ourselves not to get it on the base of the tape measure. Everyone thinks they're bigger than they actually are. It's
I
a
used
fucking
a
fact.
tape measure actually.
Of course you did.
Just in
Did
case.
Yeah, no, but did you like measure
I actually
all the way to
literally
the
don't
base?
own. I actually didn't. I don't own a ruler. I'm not a fucking nerd. I don't do math.
What does having a ruler what?
I'm not a very hands-on guy. I don't know. Listen.
I think you're pretty hands-on yourself, you know what I mean?
All right. 8 minutes in. I guess we did the intro early on, but we've left our guest in the dark for enough time at this point. I think it's time to say that. Chris has been silent for a solid 6 minutes now. He's home.
I'm taking
I
it
feel
in,
like he
man.
wants to go home. I feel like this is the kind of silent where it's just like, I want my mom to come pick me up. Like, I want to go home, and he is home right now. And I don't want this man to feel uncomfortable in his own space. So, to introduce Chriselodeon that we have here on the show, he is the owner, operator, founder, producer, and janitor of Master Hand Gaming LLC, which is the greatest of all fucking Smash esports production things that has ever produced anything in its life. And I think Chris can attest to that.
I don't know. It's hard to tell when you're being overhyped, right?
I would never fucking overhype you. You're a legend.
Shut the fuck up, David. Yes, you are.
You definitely gas me up past. But the thing is like
I'd rather gas up than gas light.
True.
Yeah, facts.
Okay, I get it. So yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I have at this point a pretty good wealth of experience, hands-on events. Essentially kind of taught myself how to do it. I had more formal jobs right out of school, and essentially like rage quit my first one and then got another one.
Do you have a story to that rage quit?
Oh my god, yeah.
Okay, you could save that. Keep going. I want to hear this, but keep going.
The thing is so you know, so you graduate school. I don't want to get into the story, but the bottom line is you graduate school, you think getting a traditional job is the way to go. I ended up working for a small family business that basically tried to operate like a big corporation, but it was a small family business. So it's like you have like, you know, I worked for a dude who had a mother-in-law and father-in-law who owned the original business and essentially would just take some money. They travel the world. It's like your classic scenario. Like
so embezzlement.
Sort of. So the father-in-law
that sounds like embezzlement.
I don't know the technical term of embezzlement, so I can't fully agree yet.
Okay. All right.
But Yeah, so like he would just take the money, go golfing in like Ireland or something, and meanwhile I'm sitting here like at the time it was a good opportunity because I'm just like a young kid out of school, as it were. And they're like, hey, how'd you like to, you work here, you learn some stuff, and then I learned quickly, so that stuff turned into like, hey, manage this product that our main, mostly sole customer buys. And is international. So it's like I started doing that, got good experience, worked with them for a few years. And I distinctly remember earlier on when the guy's like, well, you know what? Like, you have to work hard enough to where like we have like, you force us to pay you. And I always took that like serious. I was like, yeah, like, I'm just going to work real hard, just going to do my best. So the day came 5 years later where, at this point, I'd been with my girlfriend for a few years. I'm like 25 and I'm like, all right, like, seems like a pretty good time to like ask for some more money because I had been doing all this for like a measly $24,000 a year. Bruh. I'd literally, dude, not much, but like it was a good opportunity, and I was living home. So with that money, I'm so savvy with it. I had a couple other jobs on the side, and I ended up paying off all my student debt. So as soon as I did that. Thank you.
Yeah, that's 10-year like debt. Fucking poetry slam. I'm snapping for that one.
Dude, 10-year debt paid off in like 5 years. No sweat.
Congrats on that.
Fuck, dude.
Yeah, so in
Biden
any case,
wishes the vaccine rate was that good.
Well, the thing is like after that's when things, I guess, sort of started to go because I realized I was like, all right, I'm working here. These guys are definitely taking advantage of me. I don't have any more debt. And me trying to be a problem solver went around because it's a small business. So like I know everyone there and I could talk to everyone. It was like sort of office/factory work, and to some ends it was
it in a warehouse?
Yeah, working hardly working.
Kinda. There was like a little warehouse part to it with a little front office. They used to manufacture like thermal grease for electronics and other stuff.
Okay.
So,
all right.
In any case, I went around, kind of got the piece from everybody, got what everyone felt, whatever, confronted my boss, and then the typical gaslighting happens when you call people out on their stuff or try to discuss it.
Yep.
And I just didn't really take well to that. So it turned into them positioning it as, and to their credit, like it turned into it somewhat of a manic episode. And this is when I learned that I had bipolar 1. But but the funny thing is I ended up, being put on medication, getting off of it as soon as I got after that. And I had all these realizations of just like, I don't want to work in an environment like that with people. I'd rather just kind of have my own business, yada, yada, yada. And that's kind of what led me to what I'm doing now. So yeah, I ended up, I went to school for math and stuff. Just got a degree that I didn't even use for that job. Floundered for a couple years, got a mortgage job that I hated. Banking is totally soul-sucking work. Yeah. And that was basically to sustain, my career basically as a live producer, which is what I do with Master Hands, which is, I act as a one-man production team. I used to travel around to a ton of places, set up essentially an entire studio and put on events. And then, since COVID, at bottom level, I was just in like a little gaming place or like someone's almost like office. At the top level, I was streaming an event that had like 100,000 concurrent viewers and sponsored by Nintendo. So it's like I've sort of seen the whole range of that because the nature of esports, at least the level that I'm doing it, is very grassroots.
And would you want to like, I guess, go past like maybe the grassroots like sort of, I guess, level? Maybe somewhere like like Brill, like, I mean, this is the only example I could think of. Like, would you want to ever host a league tournament?
So this is the thing. I've decided that like the actual tournaments themselves were more of a means to an end for me. I really like the idea of community management. Like I will take live production work as it's presented, but the reason I sort of stuck to the niche I did, which was Smash Brothers, as you know, that's David is into commentating that, which is where I met him. I just decided I'm just like I don't even really want to do, because that's starting to feel so much like work, where it's just like I really like Smash and I take a certain interest in it, and I think of the other events as just sort of like events. So it's like if I'm at a point where I just need some money or I want to get some money, like yeah, like I'll take that work. But otherwise, like am I concerned about growing a community for like League of Legends players? Probably not, because I would say it's definitely a lost cause.
I mean,
sounds like they're player based. Yeah, I just kind of feel the same way. Like leagues,
it's
god,
it's all gaming,
like
dude. It's all gaming. All gaming communities. It's
true,
no,
but like
no,
it's,
League of Legends and Call of Duty have the worst communities, and none of the other ones even come close.
But going off of like what, even though David's memeing right now, that whole thing, like the main biggest ones, like League, Dota, and a few other ones that like all basically the games that are what do you call it, like broadcasted the most, like on Twitch, whether it be through streamers or pro players or even just
ones
like
that these kids
events.
get like millions for, basically.
Yeah, like even Fortnite, like the player base is. I've been a part of all of them, low key, and me being a Korean, and the Koreans like love like fucking League of Legends, especially even Dota as well. And like I was even part of the StarCraft community for a bit. StarCraft is a little bit more calmer, I guess, but like you go into the other shit. Even Overwatch is fucking ridiculous.
Oh my god!
Like
how they had to like
ridiculous they are.
Like the shit they had to do in those servers
shit.
to like get people to stop just using like slurs and shit on them.
Yeah.
It's insane how quick you'll get banned right now, dude. Here's I had an old I think Battlenet account or whatever because I played Overwatch for a little bit when the game first came out because I was a Team Fortress 2 player for years and Overwatch effectively killed that game for a little while until the last couple updates of Overwatch and everybody realized, wow, this game is ass and moved back.
It offers less than what TF2 offers. Like
TF2, as far as that game goes, it's like it's still got its stuff nowadays. But I played Overwatch like it's part of TF2 withdrawal because like the game was heavily inspired off of Team Fortress 2.
Yeah.
You cannot fucking deny that in any regards. Like Torbjorn is the engineer. He's literally the engineer. He plays exactly like him, like the same amount of meat resources and metal he uses. Tracer is the scout. She plays the same way. It's like all the same shit. And so I did play that game for a little while, and then when I stopped because I hated it and realized I was only playing it to fill the void of Team Fortress 2, I gave that account to my friend as a burner account because he was heavily into Overwatch League. I would receive... he played competitive, but he wasn't like, not like, oh, I'm gonna make...
He's not going to events.
I make millions
these
playing
teams.
Overwatch, like
Gotcha.
I live the metaphorical life of an esports legend. And I would... It's so funny. I would periodically get emails to my email because it's based on my account. Telling me that I've been temporarily banned. For like certain words said or behavior.
And then you like message your friend like, okay, what did you say this time?
Straight up. I am like, dude, no, it's not me. I'm not dropping these slurs. It's not me because he would go in like the shit talk that Overwatch fucking kids do. So it's just funny. Like I was not a part of that, but like many other things, I received the blame on the other end of that stick. It's just funny like seeing emails like, hey, you're toxic. And I'm like, no, it's not me. I swear to God.
I'm just waiting for like the day that David receives an email from Twitter or something, like telling you, like blaming you for me for something that I said.
I was about to, dude, we've said this at pretty much every episode. Like the Double D experience is going to get me canceled for something I did not do. Eventually. It's going to happen. It's just going to happen by sheer association of my long-legged, pissed-off Korea man. And I will die on that hill with Dennis, okay?
Well, I mean, we'd both be on that hill, but you'd be dead first.
I mean, I'm taller. I'm a bigger target.
Yeah, like whatever metaphorical arrow like comes towards us is probably gonna hit you first.
Just more area.
No.
Yeah, it's just like a bigger surface area.
Well, you all know I made this podcast because I'm an esports commentator. As I work with Chris on the regular, he's easily the greatest producer that I work with. Out of the many, I've worked with many producers. I've worked with MetaView. I've worked with a lot of the top TOs for the online events nowadays. I've worked with Collision Series and whatnot. And Chris is not only one of the most consistent, he's one of the most down to earth people that I've ever had the pleasure to work with. It's funny. We used to do a thing called the Glintendo Circuit at the beginning of the pandemic, whereas Glintendo, the guy who made our Twitter art and whatnot, and the host of the Glintendo podcast and resident shitboy, he ran a Mario Kart tournament for a while, and Chris would stream it based on the streamers that because the game has no spectator mode, based on how many people in the tournament were streaming it, I stopped entering those tournaments to commentate it because I thought I would better serve those events in terms of that way, because like the Nintendo circuit took me out of a very dark place, you know, like I had just gotten dumped, the pandemic happened, lost my job, this and that. It was literally the only thing I had to look forward to every week for a while, and we used to do that for a long while, and as a result of that, I got to know Chris a lot better, and I feel like I learned and bonded with him more than anybody else throughout the course of the quarantine and the pandemic, which is funny because I'm seeing this guy less than I ever had when I used to work with him in real life, like every week, going into these events and actually seeing him being like, oh, what's up? What's up? And, you know, just shoot the shit, little small talk. And then, like, we would just, me, him, and Stu, the announcer, will stay up regularly till, like, 3 a.m. every week after we do the DNA tournaments and just be like, man, you know what really grinds my gears? Shit like that, and it's the greatest. So
nothing brings people closer than shit that they could share hatred with.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
that's
a fact. Yeah, like, I mean, obviously people kind of use that to very nefarious ends, but you know, when it comes to at least harmless shit, it's like, yo, I hate Lincoln Tunnel traffic, and you both just bond over that. Like, you know, that's a beautiful thing. You know, you bond over, oh, how much I hate black people. That's not cool. You shouldn't do that, obviously. But you know, all said and done,
that's when I'm sitting on the subway and I hear people doing that. That's when I'm whipping out my phone, shadow recording them, and just like, yeah, like, don't fuck with these guys. They're racist.
Yeah, and
that's that is the cancel culture I will perpetuate.
To be fair though, racism is a little different depending on where you go, because I lived in New York for a good chunk of my life, and it really wasn't just one group that was racist against the other. Everyone was racist against everybody.
Yeah,
Asians would give shit to white, black, and Indian people, and the Indians would do the same, and the black people would do the same, and the white people would do the same. I got called a Asian faggot boy from a black dude at Port Authority, and I just laughed it off, and I went up the escalator. But I mean, you know, I guess, I don't know, I guess I was offended. Like, I kind of laughed as I went up the escalators, like, because it just came out of fucking nowhere. And I was dying laughing because,
New York is...
where did that come from, dude? Like, what the fuck?
That's the funny thing. We're just talking about toxic gaming communities, right? I feel like it's unfortunately human nature to just, like rage at someone. It's like the human condition where everyone just feels that bad, where if you're in a setting where you're either anonymous or you just don't think you're going to see that person again, that's what comes out. Like, it's just... It's kind of like a trained... I almost feel like it's like we're trained for it.
I just also think it's just, like, built in us also. I mean, I guess, yeah, you could say that, like, it's just... It's something that, like, over time, like, the more you game, like, you just kind of, like, you know, your brain just starts to go towards that direction.
So that's the thing, is, like, you think it's the gaming, but I literally just think it's, like, a human condition. Like, because the gaming is just like a reflection of it, right? So you could say a gaming community is really toxic, but you could also be walking through New York and have someone slur at you really hard.
Yeah, for no reason at all either. Like, I was there during the days of Xbox Live Halo and COD.
Same.
Like, we all, like, all three of us have been there. Like, we know what that feels like. And for a lot of you kind of youngins who didn't grow up with that, and y'all think that Fortnite is the most toxic fucking community out there, yo, I really wish, like, you. I don't know if those Xbox Live compilations are still up there, but like, I remember. Okay, they are. I remember listening to a couple of them before, and I was like, damn, yo, we went in those days. Like, our, like, generation, at least, like, when we were on Xbox Live, and even there were even adults as well, like, playing COD and Halo. Like, they were going in on some of these kids, and then the kids would go in on these adults. Yeah, basically, like, oh my god,
it still happens too, but like that definitely was the peak of it before anyone really cared. Because I just remember growing up, saying a word like fag or calling someone gay was just so commonplace. You'd even see it in like popular media.
That's true. Yeah.
Like you'd see that in like an Adam, like, you'll hear someone get called a fag in an Adam Sandler movie. Like I've heard it before. Can't remember which one. I was just so jarring.
Is it the one where he like turns into a golden retriever or something?
I think the one where he's a coconut and falls in love with a dog.
Is this where he turns into a dildo? And like it's
may have been that one.
Adam Sandler is.
It's like Adam Sandler. It's just like the dildo with Adam Sandler's like face on it. It's like, and the guy just picks it up and all he says is "fag."
He has
Chris,
like a
Chris, continue.
I just think he has a super interesting career to me. I was gonna digress.
Oh yeah, I actually, I kind of don't want you to because I kind of do agree, because he is one of those few actors that just makes nothing but shit, but he gets paid handsomely for it.
He's gone on record saying that he knows that his all of his recent movies are trash, but he doesn't care because they make him money. He's literally said that.
Yeah, I think I remember even who was it? Michael Caine. He was in Jaws 4 or some shit, and like they asked him like, so why'd you go into that movie? Because like it was obviously shit. You know, all the other Jaws after Jaws 1 like was garbage. But like they asked him like, oh, why'd you go into that movie? Like what made you even want to? He's like, it's paid for my house.
Yep.
Like what other reason? Like people think like actors when they're at least starting. I don't know if Michael Caine at least. I guess maybe he was going through a bit of a rough patch when it came to money, but like. People seem to forget, at least when it comes to a lot of, at least just because actors are artists, like, you know, in the sense that like, you know, acting is an art, and people seem to forget that like, yeah, okay, like I'm gonna have some integrity into this, but I'm also like, I have to pay for my bills, I have to pay for food, I have to pay for like my utility bills. Like when it comes to a lot of gigs that I've heard people take, it's like I don't give them shit for it at all. And I don't even give shit to people who even sell out in a way, because it's like, look, like it pays the bills.
I'll
like,
be honest.
In this day and age, like, you know, I can't really fault anyone for kind of doing stuff like that, because, you know, like I gotta live.
Well, we got the rules to survival, and the rules say that Adam Sandler content is of value enough to push to the masses where he gets paid that kind of money. So as long as we're living in that world, like, can't blame anyone, you know?
I'll be honest.
Yeah, exactly.
As Michael Caine, I need a certain shipment of Viagra to match the amount of hookers that I... that train
Isn't
on,
one pill
that train
enough?
on my ass on the regular. I mean, haven't you ever wanted to eat the ass of Michael Caine?
Of the Queen?
Of Michael Caine. Hey, dude, the Queen.
Don't you want?
She's fucking sick. She's single now, bro. Like, I will be that fucking, like, I will be that gold digger, little sugar daddy for her.
David, I already know you like older women, but I didn't think you would like that kind of older woman. You know
I
mean?
don't, but I like money. I'll
She's not gonna pay you.
Well, why not?
Why would she? She's the queen.
Because I'm not gonna do it unless I'm not gonna fucking
unless
do
I'm
it.
paid.
Yes.
I'm not gonna do it unless I'm paid.
Are you fucking joking? Why else would I want to like stuff my ass into like a 95-year-old's keister, dude? Like, I better be making like fucking stacks on stacks on stacks for that shit.
I'm also make this into a lesson to all you people out there. Never do something that you're good at for free.
Trust me.
Let that sink in.
Let me say something here.
And live by those words.
Let me say something here, because trust me, from where me and Chris come from, in terms of how we work together, it's more of like a unique kind of base than a lot of other Smash tournaments that I work at, because if there's something I could at least say here, and me and Chris have talked about this quite a lot extensively on a lot of our DNA After Darks, as we like to call them. A lot of the times, like, I've had people talk to me about this as well. I've had like other like aspiring commentators like reach out to me and whatnot, ask me like how to get set up in Smash and whatnot. I will never tell anybody anything but the truth, really, in that the Smash Brothers community, especially as far as esports go, or like being like a professional in esports, it is sort of a glorified internship. Is what it is, because I'm gonna be real with you, like 90% of the time doing stuff like Smash Brothers commentary, at least before the pandemic, and how I'm sure it's going to be again after the pandemic, you do not get paid. You don't. It's like you get paid. It's literally like you get paid in the fact that you get to be on a stream this big, or the clout, or the exposure, or whatever. It's like, in a sense,
for your resume.
For your resume, really. It's no different than being an artist. And yeah, don't get me wrong. There's a certain hierarchy to stuff like Smash commentary. You do got to work your way up, you know, prove your worth, like pretty much anything else. You gotta grind to make your way up in that industry. But at a certain point, if somebody's asking you like to cast like an entire tournament and you're doing something like 5 hours of work, you're 5 hours of commentary. That takes a strain on the voice, takes a lot of mental energy to be doing that. And if you want to look legitimate, it's a risk, because if you do a bad job, then, you know, people might not want to hire you again. Or if you say something foolish, of course, then that's different. There's more risk to you in that department. If you're doing something like that for 5 hours without getting paid, you're being exploited.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. You're being exploited. And I did that for so long on my come up. Like, 2019 was my ex-girlfriend and grinding commentary. That was the whole year for me, and it was pretty much among the happiest I'd ever been. Nowadays, it's like, I'm 24. I'm at the point where, like, I can't be dedicating my time to, you know, doing this shit for people for free. I mean, people will say it's like a community-based thing or whatever. It's like, at a certain point, it's like, you know, you being on the stream helping somebody for free. It's like you're sort of just helping them grow their brand at that point by offering you their services. And so I'm not saying, like, never, ever don't work for free or anything like that, because I'm going to be real with you. If you're an aspiring Smash commentator,
yeah, exactly. If you're just starting out, like,
you have
shit out of luck
on your way up. But I'm just saying, I have been paid to commentate more times in the last year alone at remote commentating than I had in the last 5 years I had been in the Smash community combined. I could count on one hand how many times I had been paid in those 5 years beforehand to do it. Not even a side hustle at that point. At that point, it is more so an actual community effort. But now, like, Chris elongatedly pays me for my work. Like, I do a certain amount of his events, and then he shadow bombs my PayPal.
There's reasons for that, because the same pushback you're saying about the commentary where you kind of do things for free, whatever, is very much the same on the production end when you're actually producing the tournaments. So the big companies that actually have money to fund stuff like this, usually a lot of that funding goes directly to players' benefit, whether that be in the form of a prize pool or a player salary. To some degree, commentators, but that's more of a top percentile, because there just aren't a whole lot of paying or established esport orgs regularly, like, doing stuff where they need dedicated commentators. And then, like, work that I'm doing will get allocated to essentially intern level. So it'll be someone getting a lot underpaid. Meanwhile, you could have me with a wealth of experience in person and, you know, not in person. That just doesn't fit whatever company's budget for production, because it's not the focal point of things. It's very much a means to an end. A lot of the focus will go into getting the attention, which is obviously all social media, and having the best players, and then the ad revenue, which is essentially what all the platforms run on. So the whole industry is it's at the whim of like Twitch and YouTube and how all that works. So it all funnels to which channels are able to monetize the content the most, and then how that business is, like, what they basically do with that money. And sadly, it's just the trend says, you know, keep investing in more content. Don't worry about the infrastructure. But there's a severe lack of infrastructure, because now you have people who are developing real skills, whether it be like David commentating and getting better and better each week, or me putting on more, you know, more productions and having those get more and more polished. But that work doesn't really, it's easily replaceable, so to speak. It's not really. If you ask someone knows what they're talking about, but like for a person with business and money, it's very much just like, you know, getting a factory with workers who are underpaid. You know, it's so until that stuff gets valued, or until the careers become something that are more, you know, until that content starts to pay enough money to pay for people who are doing its careers, it's almost like it can't happen. But I think that's just sort of most jobs now. Everything's kind of been reduced to what impact social media has.
Well, that's the thing. That's why I say that I feel like Smash is nothing more than, again, from the business side of it is what I'm talking about, is nothing more like the community, whatever. If you go there to socialize, have fun, that's a whole different thing. I'm talking about if, like, you're trying to get a job in esports setup or whatever, which a lot of people have told me that they want. I feel like most commentators, I feel like I'm one of the only commentators, and one of the only Smash commentators whose long-term goal is not esports. Is not to work in esports. Like, this is really my side hustle. I want to get as far as I can with it and stuff and do my thing. But, like, for the reasons, even some of the reasons you said, and including other ones, Chris, is why I say that, you know, Smash should be treated as like an internship, and like more like an unpaid one. You know, like, you go to college, you're young and whatnot. Everybody will always tell you nowadays on Twitter, never take an unpaid internship, never. And I agree. If you're out of college, never take a fucking unpaid internship, in my opinion. I think that's stupid. But when you're young, working for knowledge is a little different. That's okay. But Smash...
Well,
it's like, Chris, you remember that fucking tweet that guy made, whoever it was, that everybody clowned on? The guy said, like, oh, like, you need to learn how to balance, you know, Smash and, like, your real life and stuff. If, like, you're entering these tournaments every week, but you don't care to improve, blah, blah, blah. It's like you're sort of just wasting your time and your money at that point. And everybody clowned on him because they took it as, like, him shitting on their hobby.
Yeah, I recall.
Yeah, you remember that.
Yep.
I saw that, and I was like, he's fucking right. If I do nothing but enter Smash tournaments every week for a game that I don't care to improve at, and, you know, socialization is not always the main factor, it's like, what am I doing? I'm spending my hard-earned money doing something that I'm not even having fun doing anymore. It's not for me. That's the kind of... He was talking to people like me. That's who he was referring to in that tweet. Because if I spend all my free time doing that, I'm 24, dude. I need to be spending a lot of my time, you know, like owning my skills and actually getting to the place where I want to be. Otherwise, I'm going to be like fucking 30 plus years old and I'll still be working, you know, like the job, like whatever odd jobs or whatever, just so I can enter Smash tournaments. It's like, that is a waste of time at that point. So the Smash community, as far as like the business side goes, not just for the reasons that Chris said, but for others, like the fact that Red Bull and Ninja and all these other different types of organizations have tried to put on pro circuits for Smash, and Nintendo subtly shut them down every single time. The fact that Nintendo genuinely does not like the competitive Smash community, and that they know that they'll make money off their game regardless because it's catered to casuals, who are the majority of people who purchase the game, it's different. Whether it's like it's not a rational belief, in my opinion, that Nintendo thinks they'll lose sales the more competitive Smash becomes. That's absolutely ridiculous. But point is, all that stuff combined, you literally can't make a living doing any semblance of esports work for Smash. I don't care who you are. I don't care what your numbers are, because numbers on social media and shit matters a lot for stuff like esports work. I'm sorry, but it does. I feel like it matters low-key more in a community like Smash, where the money is not really existent because it's a grassroots scene, as they say. But it literally, this is what I mean when I say it should be treated like an internship for aspiring Smash employees. If you come to me and you tell me, like, oh, Nintoonist, I want to be a Smash commentator, this is my dream in life, I'm like, it's not happening. You can do it. It's never, ever, 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 fucking ever going to be your career or anybody else's. You should use it as a stepping stone to try to get into a game that has legitimate company backing behind it, like most other esports do. Look at all the top players. I've even said this before, like all the top players and whatnot, like they all stream, they all make content.
That's how they make their money too.
That's exactly.
Well, yeah,
guess what? That's where most of their fucking money comes from. You think they all want to stream?
So
no. They're not all built for that.
Being a pro player and commentator, the idea is the exposure allows you to then use that for something else. It's really not too dissimilar being on a TV show when you're a celebrity and then deciding you're going to buy like a liquor company one day.
Or have OnlyFans.
Yeah, or have that. Like, it's literally just a platform for you to, like, kind of get you out there. I think a lot of people miss that. It's just like, oh, well, yeah, I could do this professionally, and then it's my career, and I'm good. Yeah. But I just think the world is too dynamic now, and I think just the way people get things done, it's just what it is. And the fact that there are so many people that want to do this, and streaming on Twitch or putting these things together is so accessible for everyone.
Yeah.
You know, you could get people, whether it be like me, who are crazy enough to front load a lot of this work in good faith that it turns into something one day, or you just have people who kind of come in, have enough money to sort of buy out some of what, you know, smaller companies have built up organically to then make it into your own thing, which is kind of what happens with Smash. Like, whoever has the gold makes the rules. So, you know, if you have something developing, all of that stuff suddenly becomes for sale, and people really change their tone with like a check waved in front of their face, and it ends up just kind of dictating how everything flows.
I think a lot of people even seem to forget how, like, at least the entertainment industry from yestercentury at least, compared to now, is what completely two different worlds entirely. Because I mean, you know, the 1900s didn't have streaming. They didn't have all these other newer avenues that people as entertainers can go and basically get themselves out there for just even not only just more exposure, but also even just as a means of even income.
Yeah, your Twitch streamers back then were on the fucking radio.
Oh yeah,
those were your Twitch streamers back then.
And that's why I'm also saying, like, a lot of like I guess you could call them celebrities. A lot of comedians or even like that I listen to and that I watch, they not only just like people like even comedians are an example. They don't just like then come out during specials. Like that's not the only time you're gonna see them. I mean, obviously, they go to comedy clubs as well, and like you're gonna see them there. But like they also come out on radio shows. They also come out on podcasts. They also sometimes even have their own podcasts, like Bill Burr, for example. Everyone like kind of has to, I think, have to realize that having like a bit of a very narrow-minded path is just more detrimental for you in the long run, because you then don't see that there are other, again, avenues that you can go to, and perhaps you never even know, like opening that door might even just lead to even more possibilities in the end. It sounds corny as fuck, but that's at least how I think of it, because it's just so dynamic now, like the industry in general. If we're even just talking about like esports and pro gaming or even gaming in general, like that whole industry has changed so much over the last like 10-15 years that it's never been more monetized than it is now. And I think it's even going to be even more monetized in the future, like give it like the next like couple more years, considering like people who were streamers like Ninja now have their own fucking business. Like, I don't know what his net worth is, but he literally made his own. I mean, he already, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, he literally made his own brand. By literally, I'm not saying he built it through just streaming. He got all those donations and built his own business. But I think like, it's like a good chunk of it at the very least. Like that's also like something admirable about that in my opinion too. And I think that's also the reason why a lot of these young kids, when they start to come out and like, they see all these guys like Ninja and a few others, and it gets them inspired and like, oh, I want to do something like that. Like, and Ninja's journey, I'm sure, like, I mean, he was like a Halo, I think, pro player for a while, and until Fortnite came along. And then I think even for a while, I don't know if I hadn't heard anything about him until like Fortnite came out. But like he was kind of off the grid for a minute, and then like once Fortnite came out, like everyone was like, oh my god, Ninja, and like everyone kind of remembered him and such. And like the journey is a long one. Like people got to remember that too.
Yeah.
If this is something that you'd like to do professionally, it all also depends on the game that you're trying to get into. CSGO? I mean, if you're good enough, maybe, but like same for any other game.
That
really.
shit is so hard.
I know.
CSGO is the Melee of first-person shooters, without a doubt. Everything in that game is just so fucking absurdly hard for no reason.
But that's why you also kind of can't help but admire some of those players. Like I've seen some. Like
I respect the fuck out of them, but at the same time, it's like, fuck this.
I know. Like, I always like.
I gotta throw something to my sister really quick. Can we continue?
Oh yeah, sure. But yeah, I almost like I feel as if Smash is definitely, from what I can tell, it's not one of those games that. I mean, as long as Nintendo's still gonna go the route that they are, I can't ever see Smash or any, let's say, other sort of casual, even / competitive fighting game that Nintendo comes out with ever getting the, I guess, even monetary attention that that a lot of others would, I guess, maybe get like in the future. Just because, like, as everyone said on here, and as even me and David have said multiple times, like, Smash is very much a grassroots sort of scene, and it's not, from what I imagine, it can't really. I mean, I don't know. Maybe if they ever bring it back on Evo, maybe they'll like, maybe something will come out of that. But I mean, it's just at the moment, yeah, like, I can't ever seeing it become like past like what it is, which is a grassroots scene. At least that's just my opinion on it.
Yeah, I think it really just depends if the grassroots scene is going to be able to grow with the basically what has been growing it already, which I do think is possible. But with that, there's so much, I don't want to say infighting, but a lot of the people who kind of have the ability to sort of take reign of such a project are essentially competitors. So then you sort of have the scene split up in ways that they aren't even familiar with, because those guys are competing for deals with like Twitch and ad revenue and things that make all this sustainable, so they could actually hire people along.
Yeah.
But like the more that they get devalued by the competing company, and the more you have like a younger company just trying to like make something happen, it just gets very confusing and sort of cannibalizes itself. And Smash has been a pure case of that because Nintendo hasn't wanted anything to do with it. So it's kind of allowed people a way to have something organic and see if they can make it work. And to be honest with you, they haven't. I actually think the community works a lot like Lord of the Flies in a lot of ways, where it's a lot of just young kids. They're all casted away together, and they all just sort of, you know, one by one take each other out depending on whoever has the most influence is able to sway things.
Yeah, amen to that.
So that's kind of how I see it. I think though that, and I actually think that the whole everything being shut down and canceled because of COVID and everything was sort of a blessing, because it did sort of get rid of a lot of the interests of people who were just like looking to take advantage of it. Like you still have that, but then the proven entities, like because there's such a lack of interest, now have a little bit more time to sort of figure out how to literally provide a value versus you know, just trying to put content out there and thinking like, oh, I'm doing esports now and I need to get a sponsor and I'll get a bunch of viewers on my Twitch. Like it just doesn't work like that anymore.
Yeah.
And most of that is because of the way the algorithms work on YouTube. Like, you'll just never break past like a VG bootcamp or like a 2GG to a much lesser extent a VG bootcamp. But basically the main orgs that stream and present Smash content, like you're never going to break past that. Like it's literally impossible as long as we're all using YouTube as the way to do this. So now it comes to a point where people recognize that enough to decide that they're like, okay, let me just contribute towards this, or let me, you know, not run this tournament because running this tournament is going to take away from that. But you're never going to be able to stop people from hosting or doing things because, you know, people are going to do what they want, and they should.
Yeah. Exactly.
So, but like no one understands fully why that actually might do more harm than good.
Yeah,
and it's hard to really convince them because you're always going to seem like on the other end that you're just essentially trying to control something. It's really weird. I don't
like
really
you're shitting on my dream, like that sort of like sentiment.
Yeah, it's weird to actually encompass because there are a lot of different moving pieces and it's just so different from everyone involved. So like I said, I guess at the start of this, like, you know, I've seen all facets from the little company trying to make things to now seeing like, okay, well, I just want a fair wage for a fair amount of work, and the way to do that would be having like a sole entity of this. So like I've been on all ends of the spectrum as far as this conversation goes over the years.
I definitely agree with the Lord of the Flies thing, because like brands and Smash can come and go, and I feel like so many of them are trying to do that similar thing and in terms of just growing their brand. Like I mentioned before, like if you're a commentator or a producer or whatever, I don't give a fuck. You should be getting paid. You know, like there's Last. He's one of the he's the Liquid kid who like came out of the woodworks this year and now like hosts or streams a lot of the major Wi-Fi tournaments and what now. He was on Twitter the other day talking about this conversation he had with Cact because he didn't know his own worth before, and even said like, wow, I should be getting paid for this. And now I don't know how, but he does actually get money for his events right now, probably from Liquid or whatever. And when I saw that kind of stuff, I'm like good. I literally replied back to both of them. I'm like, I'm really glad you both realize this, because in my honest opinion, the Smash community is not worth doing work for free. It's not. It's just you can say what you will about the Smash community at large. I think they don't deserve a lot of what they get. If I'm being completely honest, I think by all intents and purposes, the Smash community, and I'm not saying this is truly a derogatory statement to it, the Smash community assisted me in my own terms and my own growth in my career. I've had amazing relationships because of it. I'm not saying this to be like, oh, fuck the community, fuck Smash. But by all intents and purposes, like, the community should not exist. Like, I feel like everything we do is, like, against what Smash was supposed to be and what Nintendo wanted it to be. And, frankly, what, you know, it should have been, considering some events that have happened to it. Like, I remember in July, like, the Me Too wave and everything, and people were writing their edgy tweets, like, burn it all down, or whatever. And it's like, from one end, you know, the community, low-key, kind of should have died when that happened, but it didn't. You know, like, are still here, still trucking, doing their thing, and people still aren't talking about, like, you know, event safety enough, and people are already going to offline events again, even though fucking nothing has changed. And, I don't know, it's just interesting. I agree with Chris's sentiment in terms of Lord of the Flies, because, like, what happens is that like a lot of these organizations come out of the woodwork, they do the same thing, then they start like collaborating together or taking ideas from some other places, and then eventually somebody just comes in and does it better.
Yeah,
that's what happened with a lot of like. That's what happened with like some of like the old streamers for like Brawl and the day. Literally, Chris came in with Master Hand Gaming and fucking made those people irrelevant. And it's not even what he was there to do. He just did what they did, but better.
Yeah, and it's funny is because there's a lot of I hate to throw the word entitlement out there, but there's a lot of just like associating.
No, there's a lot of fucking entitlement.
Well, associating with the community and then kind of having your name in it. But like in all actuality, the world doesn't work like that. The only thing that makes a Smash community is that everybody plays Smash Brothers. It's way too devised. You know what I mean? That's like calling an NFL fan and a Pop Warner football fan the football community. Like, I guess.
They don't even call themselves that.
I know, because it's not a real thing. Like, so I feel like this has been like some kind of weird imposed like label that have been put on people for trying to do this. Because at that point, I almost like I didn't know anything about it. The extent of it was, okay, I hated my last jobs. I want to do something that's cool. I really like this game. I'm very interested in having events in my area, so I'll just do what whatever. And then that just turned into a production career because that was the means to the end that I otherwise had envisioned. So, I figure all that out, but then as you start putting things along, you start bumping into the politics and everyone having something to say about what you're doing or having opinions, and then that's where you're fighting for all the opportunities that David mentioned earlier.
I will never forget when that fucking person, I think it was Axis or whoever, fucking twit-longered you because he was salty that more people were coming to your events.
Well, the thing is he double booked over the events we had.
Forget that.
And at the time, I was on a pretty good rhythm of having regular events and stationing them in an organized fashion that the whole state could grow with and presenting stuff. And the problem is there was that degree of entitlement, like, oh, well, I want to host my events too. And the thing is, it was a young... The reason this turned into a big deal and the attempted cancellation of me was he was referring to a conversation I had with him when he was 17, where I talked to him like an adult and said, if you're going to compete with my events, I'm basically just going to compete harder. And then he basically said how I was like mean to him.
Oh, no. Capitalism?
Yeah, I was like, David, I was literally about to say that.
I know, man. But we're... Especially like you're a 17-year-old, I guess I'll say boy because you already told me that you don't want to be talked to.
B-O-I. Not Y. B-O-I.
Whatever you want to call it.
Fucking Kratos, this kid. Boy.
Yeah. So anyways, and then he's just like putting out parts of the conversation without context, and then
of course, they all do.
And all I said, I was like, honestly, man, just release the whole conversation. Like, I don't feel bad about anything that was said or like it was bad. And then he released a little more, but then noticeably skipped stuff. So I just started posting the stuff he skipped, and then it just ended.
Yeah.
So Chris.
Access is in for like, I was so tempted to fucking like message that kid after that and be like, all right, I'm just gonna say right here, if you ever hit me up, I'm literally never fucking commentating at any of your events. If you got a problem with Chris, you got a problem with me. You can suck my dick. Wouldn't have said that last part because that would have just created problems. But like,
I mean, it really is water under the bridge. He has
I know.
It was very frustrating to endure that because that actually was the final. Dude, that was kind of the nail for me where I was just like, I don't want to do any of this anymore. Yeah, I know I didn't do anything wrong, but
you're fucking twit-longering Chriselodeon.
Like I'm a grown adult. I just wanted to have a career in something that I liked, and I no longer like this thing because of everything around it. And that's kind of what happened to me for a few months.
Doesn't deserve half the shit it gets when like you're fucking twit-longering a person like Chris, who's literally the fucking like. How could you fucking twit-longer Chris?
It doesn't even matter.
Have you seen him?
That's
He's
irrelevant.
a fucking Adonis.
Wait. Hold on.
Looked at this man like
wait,
I tell you, Dennis.
David, hold on. So Chris, let me just say 3 words. So you basically just did it better, right?
3 too many.
I mean,
you did it better, right? Like
I'm gonna say yes. But honestly,
yes!
it was literally just because I gave a shit, man. I think a lot of it was younger kids. They had their position in it. At this point, people just want to be known for something or recognized. That's the whole social media. That's the whole social media age.
God. And not to mention, like, I was even gonna like mention like how. In that whole story, because like I'm not part of your guys' community. Like I've mentioned this multiple times. I've always just been like kind of an observer, and I always just raise my eyebrows a couple times because like, it's like wow, like why would anyone want to be a part of this fucking community? But like, I kind of say that for any community, really, because like every time I look into a lot of these other communities, like especially like gaming communities, depending on what game we're talking about, like I always just see the worst part of it because that's what all the subreddits and social media love to fucking glamorize. Always the worst fucking part, like some guy either being really toxic or whatever, something similar to that.
That's sort of a media problem at large.
But that's also, I mean, as far as their business is concerned, that's also what drives like ad revenue. That's also what drives ticks. That's also what drives clicks.
Like just good news doesn't sell.
But I think it's also just been always ingrained because like every time we've seen the news, we've never seen good shit ever. I've never heard a dog being like rescued or some shit.
News. The local news is the only fucking real shit there that'll tell you just like, oh, hey, look at all these fucking puppies for sale or whatever, and there'll be good news like that. And you watch NBC News, it's like
NBC, CNN, Fox
News,
it'll
be like, did Donald Trump give Joe Biden cancer? Like that, they'll say that. They'll something.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean?
But that's why I know.
As far as gaming goes, yeah.
Yeah, but that's why I'm saying like people have always just kind of like used stuff that's already been established. And in terms of people who run their own brands or even I guess even communities, even on like subreddits, like the stuff that always gets the most upvotes, from what at least I've seen, are always the worst shit possible. Or at the very least, like it's always like sometimes it's also like a really funny interaction between two players where one guy curses the other out and the other guy did nothing wrong and he's just getting gaslit for no reason. But it's like, but I'm gonna score internet points with this. I'm just gonna screen cap this and put it up on the subreddit for everyone to see, just to see how much of a fucking idiot you are. And I'm gonna be internet famous for like 2 seconds in my life. And I think even for something like I guess like the Smash community, it's like, and I'm not saying this as if I'm like an expert onto the community because like I low-key hate your community as like the years have gone by, but I hate most of them anyways. But the I don't know, it's just it's so odd and also not, I guess, considering like because everyone's always trying to build a brand in these communities. Like everyone's trying to be the next Ninja, the next this or that, and I think a lot of people seem to kind of I'm not here to shit on your dreams. If like, some of you may make it, and if you do, like congrats on you for that. But it's like I don't know. I guess I don't really have anything to say.
No, me and Chris talked about something very similar the other day in terms of like people say like Smash. I feel like a lot of it is worse in Smash because like Chris said, it's like Lord of the Flies. Instead of being like stranded in like some luxury place, we're stranded on an island. We don't have any dev support. We're actually a grassroots scene, so it's basically like we're a bunch of like homeless people tossing a fucking little breadcrumb in between all of us, and then watching like these fucking people fight for it. Like you mentioned, they say it's grassroots, which it is, and some people will claim it's all about community building or whatnot, and because like it's a very community effort scene, which is why I've done the shit for like 5 years and rarely got paid for it. But like we mentioned before, like you beat me to the punch, and I'm sure Chris is thinking something very similar. It is about brands. A lot of these people are like trying to grow their brands and shit. That's what a lot of it is about. And then these brands will fucking come and go when these real life situations even come to them. Like it's just so dumb, like the excitement that comes from like Twitter regarding anything else. Cause like I feel like so many people like to like guess or talk about like who's gonna get sponsored next, this and that. Like I did. Yeah. I was like when I was younger, and they don't know the first fucking thing about a sponsorship. They don't know that it's a deal. To them, it's just like fucking these little letters that make somebody seem a little more legitimate on Twitter. Somebody will take a look at my sponsor, I guarantee it, and they will tell me, oh, I've never heard of Rise Brewing. They're not legit. That's not like a video game thing. And I guarantee for commentators or most commentators at my level, I'm the only one who actually has a fucking legitimate one because they're an actual company. They're not like a bunch of like fucking like Photoshop edited stuff together claiming that they're the next big thing in esports when you're doing the same goddamn thing that all these other fucking organizers, quote unquote, are doing. Just because you haven't heard of it, that doesn't mean it's any less legit. Just because it doesn't have those followers or whatever that, you got from whatever little bit of clout you have, that doesn't mean it's any less legit. Like I found a deal that works for me. These people give me free coffee. I promote them and shit. I get money off of like their the discount code. Dennis, we make money off of that. Yeah. I've told you that a million times, and then that stuff goes to the podcast. It's like, I feel like people see that and they will immediately see it as like less legit because it's not somebody big or it's not somebody they know or whatever, or it's not a page that they've already seen before or whatever. So much of that stuff to me is just like pages. What are these people doing for you? I've been, when I was younger and more naive, I was picked up by quote unquote organizations that did dick for me. Dick. Like, I was doing more for them at the end of the day by them sponsoring me, quote unquote. And I left them eventually because I knew my fucking worth and they treated me like dog shit. And I'm happy to see other commentators do the same as well, but it's another thing that's, I feel like, is more amplified. It's in every fighting game community, but I feel like it's more amplified in Smash because everybody is looking so hard to try to be the legitimate person. I want to be the next big commentator. I want to be the next big producer or whatever. Meanwhile, we're all doing it for fucking nothing because it's Smash, it's grassroots, it's us in internship. This is all a step to us to get to the next level, and they're all just shoving each other on the staircase, waiting for one of them to fall down.
It's also a do or die world, though. Like,
yeah,
that's the whole, like, it's, I call it the rat race, but like, that's basically the race nowadays, like,
exactly.
for everyone. Like, and it's a lot of kind of young people who kind of are going into it, like, very impressionable teenagers and such, like, thing. And then I know your guys' scene is like nothing, has a lot, like a big number of at least like really young players. Like, I'm talking like below 18 and stuff, and like they do pretty well too as well. And but it's that's like it's what do you call it, like. It's become like basically a lot of other industries in the sense, not even industry, but like I guess a lot of communities in the sense that like, because it's kind of even a very human thing, to make it big, I guess, to kind of like, essentially just achieving your dreams. And for a lot of people, it's like becoming the best Smash player, the best streamer, or the most like successful streamer. And then even outside of that, it's like, you got other games where people also have like the same sort of aspirations where I want to be the next big insert X, Y, and Z of this game. And the whole success of it all that they've seen from other people, like people like Ninja, entices people to just kind of like to do just that, essentially. And I think, people seem to forget that certain communities, like, really, the community itself sometimes even help drive those up and coming individuals. But it's, I don't even know how big, let's say, the international Smash community is. I'm sure it is probably
very
huge.
large. Japan is probably the most stacked region in terms of their high-level talent, if we're being honest. Europe, of course, has a huge scene. There's a Smash World Tour happening right now. It's all online. And, it's pretty large.
Okay. And I had a feeling it was, considering it is a Japanese-made game. But, it's... I don't know. This is always... Like, every time Smash is brought up, it's always out of my realm.
If I may, well, first, Chris, do you have anything to say to what we were just talking about?
No, man, I do think that the world's a lot bigger than people think, because I do think that the scene gets reduced down to the quote-unquote Smash community, which is just effectively Twitter saying that it exists, versus like the actual people that are playing the game actively every day, which is more than you could imagine. I mean, you're talking about the Switch, which is record-selling sales, and then Smash being like the most sold game, and we're sitting here arguing about like one local competing with another, when in reality the fan base is there. A lot of people don't like playing online.
Some kid said on Discord or whatever. Like, a lot of those like top Smash Twitter personalities do not play the fucking game. They don't go to tournaments. So it's like, why are you here? Like, what relevance do you have besides just being a face for people to like look to? To echo on to what Chris was really saying, I mean, like, I think it's just more than high time for like Smash to join the real world in that sense, because like, I said this in like the podcast we did a couple of months ago in terms of like the sexual assault allegations, because if Smash just did some pretty basic things that the real world implements to prevent that kind of inappropriate intermingling from happening, a lot of its issues would be not completely solved, but would be a lot better. But it says a lot about like the age range or the general maturity of a big group of people when, like we mentioned before, somebody twit-longers a guy like Chris because they're jealous that they're jealous of them and they're sad that capitalism is a thing. When somebody also, and I don't think I've ever told this story on the podcast as well, so I think I'm going to go ahead and do this now. I have been twit-longered myself as well. It happened.
Really?
in the community. Yes, I have, Chris.
I actually didn't know this.
And
I didn't know this
You
either.
guys are gonna fucking love this one, and there's ain't no better time to tell it. All right, this was years ago at this point. This was when my YouTube channel was really starting to take off. Back in like 2017, late 2017, I believe. Yeah, I think it was like late 2017. It might have been, if I recall correctly. I probably look at my channel and figure it out, but whatever, not important right now. And I made the We Are #1 video, got 1 million hits, blew up my channel a lot. I got a lot of followers, and then I started making top 10 lists for Smash around the same time. And I was the only person on YouTube who was making top 10 lists for competitive Smash. So those videos got a lot of attention. Still have like some of the most concurrent views that my channel has today. People still watch those for whatever reason. I even had some random dude in a Twitch chat on a Smash stream that I was watching tell me that he missed those videos. I'm like, oh, thanks. I mean, I don't plan on making them again, but thank you. That means a lot, whatever. There was a fucking dude, right? One of the videos I made, it was top 10 worst overall Smash Brothers characters spread across the 4 Smash games at the time. So the list was basically about who like all the bottom tiers were in that games and which ones I thought were worse than the others. So, you got Melee Bowser on there, Zelda generally and shit, Melee Kirby, all that stuff. So I put the Mii Sword Fighter from Smash 4 on that list because that character was absolute dog shit in that game. And there was a dude, right? Because I was responding to a lot of comments as well to keep the engagement up, and this is actually part of the reason I even stopped making these videos. There was a guy who got, I'm not even kidding, this kid who got so salty, so fucking salty that I put the Mii Sword Fighter as one of the worst characters because that's who he mained, right? To the point where he went on Twitter and wrote a giant-ass twitlonger titled "The Problem with Nintoonist." I'm not kidding. He added me and everything. The problem with Nintoonist. That's what he called it. He called me problematic to the scene, that my videos were about spreading misinformation and were causing a great disservice to the Smash community.
Your character is dog shit. Get over it.
And then what happened is that at the end of that twitlonger, after he was roasting me, by the way, calling me all this shit, he invited me. He was like 16. Yeah, he was like 16. And then he invited me to a debate on megality in terms of the Mii's being legal on his up and coming Smash podcast.
Oh.
That is what he fucking said. And I responded to that with the biggest lol I'd ever fucking done in my entire life. And then what happened is that I had a friend who was like also in the Mii Discord, and what happened is that he deleted that twitlonger because everybody in the Mii like character Discord fucking roasted him for posting that twitlonger. Like, they were eviscerating him in the fucking Mii Discord for posting that to the point where he deleted it. And you want to know the best part out of all of this stuff? The fact that this kid, like, tried to, like, fucking actually cancel me because I said his character in a video game was bad. He did this on New Year's Eve. It was like 7 p.m. on New Year's Eve that he wrote that entire thing posted it. He had nothing better to do on New Year's Eve than to try to get somebody canceled because he said a guy in his fucking, like, that he said a character in his fucking video game was bad. He was jealous. That's literally what it was. He saw that my channel was exploding. He got jealous and he made a twitlonger for it, just like that fucking douchey T.O. did to Chris.
Hold up.
Same thing. These people are fucking losers, dude.
Like, does your parents not love you? Like, what the fuck? Why'd you
Where the fuck are your parents? It's time to stop.
Like, go fucking spend time with your family, you fucking idiot. Like, I mean, this is a long time ago, so I don't know. Like, I imagine.
I wish I saved it because he deleted it before I could, like, save the twitlonger. I forgot to mention this as well. He made 2 fucking, like, edited propaganda-looking images of me. I'm not kidding. He took actual photos of me and edited them. Like, with the word triggered on them, because I said that he was triggered for me calling the Mii Sword Fighter bad. I'll put them on screen right now, and I'll send them to you guys in a little bit.
Didn't you use that as, like, a profile pic?
Yes, I fucking did.
Oh, I do remember correctly.
Yes, I fucking did. It was my Twitter profile pic for a little while. It was fucking glorious. He like actually screen capped that shit. Like to try to make, like, he was legitimately like trying to like bully me because of that shit. It's like, this is what these fucking people are. And I know that there are TOs who are only like a couple steps above that level of maturity who will get salty when other TOs like do some shit that they don't like, or commentators say some shit that they don't like. I've had TOs that I've worked with literally stop communicating with me outright, and I don't fucking know why. And I'm sure I could just message them and everything would be okay, but like, so many of them like claim to be like these huge fucking like professionals in their work and what they do, and then they ghost people who work in the same industry as them and who work in that same community as them. And like, you expect me to fucking respect you if you're gonna act like that? That's immature as shit. And like, God, it's like, the Smash community just can house some figureheads and that kind of right. There are people who seem like they know what they're talking about, but they just fucking don't. Which is why I like, it's something to take with a grain of salt. Online community is like very different than the offline one. I'm a little iffy about that in myself. But point is, the reason I told that story is because there are people who will legitimately just, I'm not kidding, try to fucking publicly cancel you just because you said something that they don't like. I feel like that happens in Smash, or it used to happen in Smash, so much more often than like other communities. It's because they're fucking soft. This is what I mean by saying the Smash community needs to join the real fucking world. Where we do so much shit that the real world doesn't do, and we suffer so many of these little insignificant childlike problems because of it, analogous completely to how Chris describes it as the Lord of the Flies. It's like a bunch of fucking children trying to govern themselves, and they don't know what the fuck they're doing. That's what it is. And I'm just too old to be dealing with that kind of shit. I'm going to come in, do my thing, commentate, whatever. Do my thing as always. And because I love what I do, I'm not going to let any teenage drama or whatever that people like to talk about ruin that for me and pretend that's what the actual Smash community is at large. But, like, you got to acknowledge some of it for what it is at the end of the day. And that's why I hated that people roasted that tweet or whatever when people said, like, oh, it's fucking stupid that, like, people will be 20 however years old and hate the game yet still play it, and people took that as an assault on the game or whatever. I'm like, no, he's right. Literally just, like, it's a waste of time at this point. I don't want to be, like, 35 and reading, like, this dumbass teenage drama on my timeline or whatever. You gotta curate that for yourself. If a guy like Chris gets twit-longered and I get twit-longered, what does that say about the twit-longerers? It's stupid. Let's talk about your shit privately like adults, you fucking little dweebs. God damn. Look at Chris. None of you know, because we don't use webcams on our podcast. This guy's a fucking Adonis. He's literally too good looking to be involved in the work that he's in. I have said that to Chris 1,000,000 times over. It's like, you fucking know it's true. He's fucking ripped. He's too handsome. It doesn't make any sense. Like, Chris, what are you doing here, man?
I mean, I don't know, dude. Like I said, I really look at all of this as means to an end. I really don't even... I believe in the Smash community like I believe in the boogeyman. Like, it really holds no weight to me. And the reality is what we're even calling Smash community it's a bunch of kids, man. And that's what makes me feel bad, because it literally is just probably some degree... not to totally throw parents under the bus, but probably some degree parenting
of shit
neglect.
Parents.
I mean, I also remember what it's like.
You think Captain Zach's parents give a fuck about that kid?
I mean, that's a different story. That.
Well, yeah, no. I'm not saying we're not going to get into that. We're not going to get into that. But I'm saying, like, where are their parents?
I was about to say that too. I was saying,
like, where the fuck are their parents?
But the thing is, though, is parents aside, like, I don't know, young kids are curious, they're impressionable, and they all want the validation, right? And I don't even want to think about, like, I didn't have a cell phone until I had a driver's license at 17. And I didn't have, like, a phone with real internet capabilities probably until, well, definitely it was after college. So figure, 23, 24 by the time I actually had one. I do not want to think about what that would be like if I had any form of social media or immediate information when I was in high school. That the anxiety that would spike in me would be unreal. And I know these kids are literally growing up with that. So all of that curiosity and very otherwise normal need to, like, express yourself and get some validation when you're a kid that you just sort of learn when you don't necessarily get to do that it doesn't always have to work that way, doesn't happen. So a lot of times you'll get a lot of these younger populations being, you know, they are impressionable, and then we'll kind of start mouthing off because they have a forum to basically do so before they even are able to process what they're saying. It's basically just a reflection of like the larger weird energy that's associated with it. So I do think that there's some degree of a lack of I hate saying this, but some degree lack of role model, because I don't think that should be anyone's job, but I could also see how having some direct authority would be beneficial, you know?
Yeah.
So to me, that end of things is actually quite interesting to me, and I almost kind of got in with that in mind when I first started. Like, oh, well, you know, there's really nothing for kids age, you know, like young men from ages 14 to 17, 18, 19. Like, there's kind of nothing there for that, right? Because once you grow up, like, playing with race cars isn't cool anymore. Being a Boy Scout isn't cool anymore. Video games is only recently cool, and then you see kind of what's happened with that. But that whole age gap, unless you're playing a sport, gets shit on. So then now everyone just sort of is stuck in social media land and looking for any kind of interaction, to where, sadly, this is the result. Because with a video game that's acceptable and sort of fits that dead zone for young men especially, not that there, you know, that there aren't young women involved in this too, but especially, is like, you know, this is, you're seeing kind of the reflection of that. Like, this is like a whole ignored populace of people. I think all populaces were basically ignored. It just maybe wasn't as like startling because you just don't see it up front for what it is. But now you do in the form of like the Smash community, so to speak.
Yeah, young people were about as young and stupid and aimless, just as we were, like, when we were like their age as well. Like, people like our parents as well. They were like that as like I bet you money they were like that as well. And that's why, like, I mean, Chris, you are right in the sense that, like, I feel as if that whole lack of direction, and even like, because people like all have that young and stupid phase, and I don't say stupid or young as like a derogatory way. I mean that in a real sort of kind of just righteous and honest way. Like, we were young and stupid when we were young. Yeah. We all had like really stupid delusions.
You always just wanted to explore.
Fucking shit when I was a teenager.
You're learning.
Bro. Oh man.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm
Facebook
saying,
memories.
Like, I don't know if anyone's ever been offended by what I said, because I don't read the comments, but like I have said this whole thing about young and stupid people, like, and again, I don't mean this in a malicious way where, like, I think you're retarded. I really do think though, like, that what, like, me, David, and Chris, we all just said it right now. We all were fucking stupid. Like, we were all young and stupid and very impressionable ourselves. We were all in that phase. And I think for me, like, whenever I see like my parents, I view them in two ways. I view them as in, like, okay, I'm going to do that. And then I also view them as, okay, I'm not going to do that. That's what basically role models are in a way. I think people also kind of have to see role models as in, like, they're not always exactly the most perfect people. But again, like, for me, I look at my people as role models because of the fact that, like, they do exemplify a lot of things that I do like. Not to mention also, like, you know, those parts outweigh more of the bad. And plus, I always just kind of view the bad as in, okay, I'm not going to do that. Because I also know people aren't perfect. And no one's more imperfect than young people. And I'm even also worried, like, you know, when I grow up and, like, I have kids of my own and stuff. Because, like, I've been in that world, and I'm pretty sure that world, that whole, like, I guess the gaming world is what I'm just going to call it, is just going to get even bigger and bigger by the time I'm a boomer. And I'm just going to kind of, like, be a little bit familiar as to, like, what I'm looking at, but at the same time, I'm also just going to scratch my head. I bet you probably, like, to some certain things that is going to come out of that whole, I guess, evolution.
Or eating the classic Baconators.
Or even 2010's Chipotle.
That's what you said. I was just thinking about that on the car ride home today. Like, yes, I'd like 2010's order Chipotle, please.
I still want 1990s Taco Bell. That shit was fucking great. Everything kind of just tasted a little better, like, back in the day.
I feel like life tasted better back then.
Yeah, it wasn't as fucking full of air pollution and shit as it is today.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I didn't mean physically, but yeah.
Less distraction from the actual flavor of your food.
Like
you're not staring down at your phone, like, split attention. You're literally just eating your food and, like, this is pretty good.
I have to say,
instead, you're just staring in your girl's eyes as you have the lush flavors of a Baconator pouring through the saliva of your mouth, and you're just like, I'm fucking lost right now, dude. This is life.
It is definitely really, like, it makes me just kind of grind my gears. It's one thing, it's made also sound a little sexist, but it's like, if I see a girl, like, kind of just getting her phone out and, like, taking the perfect picture for her fucking Instagram, it's like, okay, like, whatever, they're like that, they love.
Bitch, it's a Baconator.
It's like, wait.
It's not some like fucking gourmet-looking meal. It's like, you don't need to put your Baconator on the fucking gram.
They're, like, attracted to, you know, shiny objects, you know what I mean? but nothing's as shiny as a Baconator. If you see the amount of grease, you ever see the amount of grease on that fucking thing? But like, my whole thing is that when I see a dude take a picture of his fucking food, like, and not the pictures themselves, but when I see a guy himself take a picture of their fucking food, I'm like, are you gay? Like I don't know. There's some like weird part of me that just gets like, what are you doing? Eat your fucking food.
All right, yo, hold up, fellas.
I don't know. Like, it's just.
Is it gay? Is it gay to share your food on social media, fellas?
It's pretty gay. I think it's pretty gay.
I do think it's a thing of the past, but I also think, like, you know, what else do you post, right? I look at Instagram, like, what do you do? Because, like, unless, like, you're posting selfies, like, if you're posting selfies, then you just come off, like kind of, like, self-important, kind of egocentric, like, you know.
Oh,
like,
look at me, like, type of person.
Like, the thing is, I don't even know what the thing is, dude. It's just, there's no good way to go about social media. There's not. I think it's used all wrong. Like,
the
we
very
could be
nature
evolving, like, and using social media for real information share and like learning how to like speak telepathy and, you know, telepathically and like teleport and stuff. And we're arguing about like fucking vaccines and shit. Like there's so much missed potential. You know, like it literally, it bothers me.
Like the missed potential is actually just 2%. That's the thing. Like, that's what I call it. It's 2% of actual social media now. That shit is still going on. Like, where people are still sharing. Like that's the reason why Discord communities are even a thing too. Like, everyone kind of shares what they kind of like and they want to be a part of the community. That's 2% though, because again. And we, you know, as we've all said, like 90% of it now, it also kind of just depends on like the setting, I guess, because like right now everything's about vaccines and shit. Everything's about stimulus checks. Everything's about like, you know, people dying and people like just getting in like thrown into hospitals because they have COVID. I still remember that one post where one guy, I felt so bad for him. One guy basically after he got hit with COVID and he was in the hospital for like I think a good set number of days, and he got out. He got hit with an 11 something page or some fucking crazy number of pages worth of a bill from the hospital that he was at, and I was like, I'd rather just die if I was here. I probably would just kill myself just reading that fucking bill.
That is America.
Yeah,
right
like, there. And that's basically like what social media is now. It's like always just digging in and just exploiting the worst part of ourselves and then just getting the clicks on it.
Well, you got to think like
that's what Twitter is.
In the greatest speech ever made by Charlie Chaplin, that's literally what it's called. Guy opened his mouth on a screen one time and says literally one of the greatest speeches that I think has ever been told in a form of media. And in pretty much the height of World War II as well. Very motivating. He even explained that stuff like that is being used like for World War II right now. Stuff like the radio and the airplane, the latest technologies at the time. The very nature of those inventions cries out for the brotherhood of man. It cries out to bring people together because of what those things can do, and then they're used in a different thing. And social media, in theory, could be that same way, but instead it's another thing that I feel like is low-key ruined by capitalism. Like, as we talked about capitalism in the Smash community, how people, you know, hate that people compete with each other, correlating that to this. The thing is, like, Twitter especially, and I've even mentioned this on the podcast, a guy on the official podcast was talking about it the same way. It's literally designed in a way to make you addicted to it. It's the same thing as like fucking casinos. A lot of the casinos that you go to that, you know, like breed gambling addiction with the pretty lights and the, I was so close, it was almost just one more 7, and then you spin it like 10 more times and blow like $500 before you finally win something. Those people are literally in association and own the rehabilitation centers for gambling. Like 1-800-GAMBLER, that shit is run by the casinos. They breed addiction and they know it, and they even profit off of that. Social media is the same way. Twitter especially is designed in the low format that it is, like 240 characters or whatever, specifically because of the immediate gratification that it brings out in human beings. That's how it keeps you scrolling. That's how it keeps you actually addicting to it. It's actually part of the user interface of the actual application itself. And they know that. Instead, like, social media could have been used as, like, this great way to bring out a brotherhood of man together. It just cries out to bring people together. And, yeah, you know, on one end it does. Facebook has started a literal revolution before in Egypt that eventually exploded on its head. It also caused an insurrection, which is why the Double D experience does not use that shit platform. And then it also does other stuff on top of that as well, in terms of like bringing out the worst side of people, in terms of like sparking a debate. That's why Twitter is like so bad for that kind of stuff. You're literally debating with people when you have character limits, with people you have never even fucking seen before. It's just dumb. And I think part of the reason that the Smash community, at least online, is as toxic as it is. You go offline to Smash events, there's just a mixed range of like kids and adults and people, actually mostly adults in the way that I see it, but still young adults, having fun together, doing whatever their thing. Yeah, it can be kind of cliquey, especially in the tri-state scene, low-key, but, you know, still adults doing their thing together. Online, I feel like Twitter, I hate the fact that Twitter is what the Smash community uses for fucking everything. I feel like it's made it worse in that regard, because I think Twitter inherently, and I won't exaggerate here when I say this, I think it's one of the worst fucking things that has ever happened to the world. I'm not gonna lie. I think Twitter is fucking awful. Awful. And
David, I've been saying since the beginning how Twitter is the most cancerous fucking thing ever. And
Yeah.
I don't even mean that in a even memey way. Like, I truly think like Twitter is the worst, as you also said, the worst fucking thing that was ever invented. I thought Facebook was bad, but then I realized, like, because I naively thought, like, I mean, Twitter has like a character limit, so therefore it can't be that bad. But you could post many of those shitty little like character limited tweets anyway, so it's like there really is, like, I almost think you should just get rid of the fucking character limiter, because it's like people still gonna write a fucking novel about how much they hate something or someone, regardless. Like, it's not gonna stop them.
that would turn Twitter into Facebook, but with like much saltier people.
So that's the only difference in the fucking
Pretty
character
much.
limiter.
I guess, yeah. I don't know.
That's the only difference.
But unfortunately, social media has. We used to use the internet to escape reality, and we use reality to escape the internet now. It's not good, and unfortunately,
No, but you do need
reason,
a healthy. But you do need a healthy dose of reality. Though.
Yeah, and I
Like,
don't want to
you know,
like. Part of the
You can't
reason
be
I,
in that
yeah, go
limbo
ahead.
forever. You can't be in that limbo forever. Is all I was gonna say.
Yeah,
Like,
part
you know, you gotta wake up and sorry.
No,
Wake up
don't
and
worry.
smell the roses.
Part of the reason I don't want to work in esports is because I know so much of it is a numbers game. It's like you gotta crank out content constantly, and you need to know how to work the algorithms of Twitter, or post at the right times, or know the right people so you can get the clout, because a lot of it is clout based. There are some talentless fucking people at the top of the esports industry who have gigs that they, I'm sorry, frankly shouldn't have. I'm not talking about Smash. I'm literally not even talking about Smash when it comes to that. Esports is a very new industry. As a result, it's going to have a lot of hiccups at first. But like, the thing is that you literally need like followings and numbers games and stuff. It's about being an influencer at the end of the day. Whereas the kind of work that I know that I want to go in and that I know I'm going to be fucking amazing at doesn't need that shit. It's a job that I know I'd be great at that doesn't base you on like however many fucking followers you have, like everything else in esports does. There'll be commentators who are chosen for events based on how many like followers they have, because they'll look good to have them for their events. And that's just business. That's just part of how the esports industry works. You know, like there's a clout thing to it. You can be as salty about that as you want, but it's just the way it works now. But the fact of the matter is there are other industries and facets of life that bring about, like, you know, something like having more Twitter followers, and you can see it in people replying to stuff in tweets whenever people are just voicing their opinions with ratio, just so they'll have more likes, as if that makes them more important or have more validity. But to other people, they'll see that and they'll legitimately like look at them and think they're better people for it, because people are so ingrained in it at this point. It's not good. It's not a good thing at all.
On another news, I just got a notification on my phone.
Right.
Apparently, paninis are back on Wawa.
Nice.
Let's fucking go.
They got burgers now too.
Yeah, they got
Ooh.
dinners and shit as well. I don't know if any of y'all
Wawa
like,
fucking smoothies. Oh.
Wawa in general is the
Wawa.
best fucking convenience store. Sorry for going off on topic on that, but like I had never had their paninis before.
Please,
and,
this is more fucking pleasant to talk about. Let's talk about fucking Wawa. I'm down. Chris, what do you get at Wawa?
It depends, man. I actually think they make a really good burrito. A lot of times they're like the only place that'll make like a I mean, I sound like a child, but like a chicken tender like sandwich, like a sub. Dude, they have like this spicy sauce they put on. I forget what it is. It's been a while since I've been there.
Some Chipotle mayo,
But-
mayhaps.
Probably something like that. They have something of that nature, and I just do that, basically like a sub with chicken tenders, and it's kind of godlike. Mac and cheese is good.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, man.
The mac and cheese, I gotta say, is almost up there with some. I'm probably gonna shit it on for this, but like, I've gone to a lot of restaurants, and me, like, as a child, I've gotten mac and cheese a couple times. I have to say, Wawa does mac and cheese pretty fucking well, even though I know that it's, like, been frozen in the freezer, and they just melted it down and basically just threw it in the microwave and, you know, served it to me. And, like, I'm okay with that. Like, I'm perfectly fine with that. It tastes fucking great. And I usually get, like, hoagies. Get like full foot long hoagies. Like that's
toast that shit with Chipotle mayo on it.
Fuck. Like Wawa basically shitted on Subway in that regard too, and like I don't hear nobody going to Subway anymore.
Shitted on itself.
That's
Subway is dog shit.
Didn't they have like a pedophile as a spokesperson?
Yes, Jared Fogle.
yeah, he did look like a pedophile though.
Literally, and that guy only got like 15 years or some shit.
He looked like a pedophile. My goodness.
Literally only got like 15 years in prison or some shit as well. I don't know how that happened, but I mean, I'm sure as soon as he re-enters society, some other shit is gonna happen involving him. But yeah, no, their spokesman was literally a pedophile as well. And congratulations, like you had a pedophile spokesman for a company that sells cardboard.
Damn.
That sells cardboard.
Oh,
that is what that shit is. You ever go to Subway, man? Shit is fucking ass. Jersey Mike's is where it's at.
Can you imagine being the CEO and finding out that your spokesperson was a pedophile? Everyone in that boardroom just fucking says, all right, we're going to have to disassociate ourselves from you like forever, and we're going to take our money and fuck you, because we are not going to associate with a company that has basically a pedophile as a spokesperson.
No? Oh, that's weird. I wonder why they wouldn't want to do that. Well...
that's ridiculous. God, that's ridiculous though. That like, imagine just being shell shocked with that news one day. You're like in your house, in your bathrobe, just chilling, and then reading in the news that your spokesperson for your company is a fucking pedophile.
Let me say one thing here in terms of off topic for this. I was gonna say before I went on the vent tangents that we did on tonight's very interesting episode of the Double D Experience. I was gonna say let's all say one very stupid, material, arbitrary thing that pisses us off. Now, let's all say one very stupid, material, arbitrary thing that it doesn't matter if it's any of that stuff, because it's good and makes you very happy. What is one thing that makes you all very, very happy?
My computer.
Well, I know it doesn't make you that happy. You still don't got that card in there yet.
Yeah, I don't got a 3080, but it still makes me happy because I know for a fact if I sold, because I was planning on selling my two 1080 Ti's, if I sold those, I would have been GPU-less for fucking a year and a half. This thing has been keeping me sane for a year and a half. No job.
I was gonna say, what are you gonna do? You're gonna like put like a fucking Pop-Tart in like the PCI slot instead, like just run.
Like
I want to play card.
Okay, like a little cardboard little shit, and like just stick it in there and just be like, it's gonna be like a real sad picture. It's just like, you see, it's there.
Chris, what flavor of Pop-Tart do you have in your computer?
A flavor Pop-Tart?
Yes, what flavor Pop-Tart is in your PC right now?
I guess it'd probably be a frosted raspberry.
No. No.
Was that like, were you trying to ask me a
wrong
flavor
answer?
That I like? I didn't have the answer.
I got brown sugar cinnamon up in my shit.
Yeah, I mean that's a go-to, man. That's like a Pop-Tart staple. That's like it's literally the ones they sell in bulk with like frosted strawberry. They're both delicious, you know what I mean? And you're always gonna enjoy them. But there's so many other Pop-Tart flavors where it's just like
cookies and cream is my favorite.
And some of them heat up better than others. Like
that is true too.
Some of them are meant to be served cold, are they not?
Yeah, they
some
make,
of them
they make milkshake ones that like you put in the freezer, but I honestly don't mess with that too much.
Yeah, same.
I always throw my chocolate, like my straight up chocolate bars, in the freezer anyways.
If your product is called toaster strudel and I have to freeze it to eat it, I don't know, man.
Although Pillsbury did have a couple of strudels that were frozen goods, but I remember having some of them. I remember they had a breakfast one, and I loved that shit so much. When I was a kid, I guess, but because like I thought it was better than a fucking Hot Pocket, but we all know Hot Pockets are owned by Nestle, so you know, fuck Hot Pockets.
I remember when I told you that.
I know, and at the same time, I still kind of love Hot Pockets because I still love their ham and cheese one, but that's why I'm a bit conflicted. It's like, yeah, you know what, fuck Hot Pockets, but you know, fuck Nestle too, but I you know, just one thing, you know, I'll just keep.
I'll stuff for good.
It's like I love you. and I'll keep you. But the rest of you can go fuck yourself. Is basically my whole relationship with the hot ham and cheese Hot Pockets, like, and Nestle, and I guess
my mind's telling me
it's like,
no.
That's basically what David's about to say.
But my body,
Yeah,
body's telling me yes.
it's like I'm cheating on humanity, like, because I love Hot Pockets.
Pretty much.
Ham and cheese Hot Pockets from fucking Pillsbury from Nestle. I'm sorry, they're just too good.
It's okay.
I would buy them. I would still buy them if I don't know, like, I haven't been to a supermarket in a while. It's not the first thing that I think of when I want to buy.
Right.
But, going back to David's question,
Chriselodeon. What is one thing that makes you very happy?
You know, I'm going to actually say the Mega Man franchise. It sounds kind of corny, but I've been finding myself recently with a lot of my free time literally just booting up Mega Man 9 or 6 or one of my favorites, and I kind of just play through, and I just try to do a little bit better each time. I'm not trying to speedrun, really. I'm just enjoying the levels and just getting better at them as I go. So,
Chris, I love you.
Are you?
I love Mega Man 2. I actually got the X collection, like, just recently.
Dude, you should definitely run through them if you haven't.
I'm going to do it, because I did drop a good chunk of money for those 2 collections, so I'm going to have to play them, but I haven't met another Mega Man fan in a long time. I also played the Battle Network series as well, though. I'm still waiting for the collection on that, but I also played the Zero series as well. I'm basically just getting all the fucking collections because I just love Mega Man, and I hate Capcom for what they did to my boy because they don't make no games for him no more.
Capcom got really bad for a few years, probably around the time Mega Man 9 came out, and then recently, to my understanding, they've actually been doing things a lot better than they were. So I don't know.
Devil May Cry 5 is the reason why I feel.
I don't know, man. I mean, some stuff has changed. Apparently, the way they're handling Street Fighter 5 seems pretty good, and I really
Resident
don't.
Evil as well.
Yeah, Resident Evil.
Yeah.
I really didn't like what they did to Mega Man. I wasn't a fan of 9 at first. I'm still not a big fan of 10. It felt kind of like a little bit of a cop out at going from a 3D game and getting rid of mechanics like slide and charge shot. But then like 9, for example, had that, and like Proto Man could charge and slide stuff, just took more damage. So it's like I could appreciate that. But I also feel like it was a little bit of a shill at some point. But then, like, if you play through the old Mega Mans and then you play 9, like, it's 9, even though it looks the same as the old one, is pretty visually, like, really well presented.
It's stunning.
The old games,
like what it is.
The old games are just like they're a little bit glitchy. So it's like you're running and you're seeing the screen clip, and like 9 is just like very smooth what it is. So I've really been enjoying that.
It was a WiiWare exclusive, right?
What's that?
It was a WiiWare exclusive.
So
number 9?
It was just like a downloadable game. I think it started off on the Xbox Live Arcade when they were putting out a lot of games on the 360.
Right.
Yeah.
Because there was like a whole big push for indie games at that point for Xbox Live. That was actually really cool. And then indie games became even more accessible as like Nintendo started doing stuff. And then it was on the WiiWare and PlayStation Network and all that. But I recently revisited that. It makes me pretty happy. That and honestly, I know a lot of people hate it but like, so Mega Man's a simple one, but then like Fire Emblem is like a huge source of comfort for me, which I never thought I'd hear myself say, but it really is.
You have 3 houses then, right?
I have like 600 hours on that game.
Who was your first pick?
Dude, Black Eagles, man. Fuck the system.
Oh!
The church was toxic, and I don't know.
The church is toxic. That is true, but
I mean, I love the Blue Lions. I love Dimitri. I mean, Golden Deer. Cool.
Dude, Dimitri is the golden boy. You can't hate him.
No, you're right. I mean, Dimitri's great, man. Yeah. I sort of think the Edelgard was a product of the church, and that was the problem that became presented. She was literally. I don't want to no spoilers here, but like she had a rough upbringing. A rough upbringing there. It's no wonder that she kind of took the route she did.
The thing is, though, a lot of them kind of. I mean, you don't have really a good story unless you had a rough upbringing.
I mean, that's true.
Like a lot of the characters, like it's the reason why, like, I love characters that have had their parents die in front of them. I feel fucked up and probably sound fucked up for saying that, but like good characters need tragedy. Like it's just a fact whenever you're writing anything. Like one of your parents have to die at the minimum. Like you're gonna have a parent die.
Yeah, I'm
sorry.
Yeah, there's definitely some degree of like going through something extremely traumatic.
Yeah, it's like the same with like any show I've seen, like especially even animes. Like every character's had someone who died. Like even going into Teen Titans, even like Robin literally I think had his parents maybe not. I think that was Tim Drake, but the Robins all had like personal tragedies too. Batman fucking died. Like even looking into Western characters, like Superman had his entire planet blown up.
Yeah.
Nothing's more tragic than that than seeing your entire race explode.
Can't relate.
Well, David. No, I'm not gonna say that. It's
What?
Like, I'm gonna kill your parents in front of you. Then you're gonna go through some real tragedy. No,
What do you think that'll make our story more interesting?
I mean, maybe. I don't know. We could write a story about it, but I don't know. Like, it's just everyone's like every character that like we kind of love always have like some loved one or someone die in front of them, or like at least they're dead and we never knew them, and it's just like a chip on their shoulder that they carry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it when it's relevant because so many stories I feel like did that trope where it's just like, oh, the mom is dead, oh, the dad is dead, oh, they're both dead, but it doesn't serve a purpose to like the psychology of the character. It's just there to be like, oh, here, have some sympathy for them. Boom. Yeah. It's like actually have it something to do with the story or don't include it. You know, it's like that's a pretty golden rule of screenwriting. If something is not, doesn't move the plot along, or unless like it's not relevant unless it's really, really fucking funny. That's when you include it.
Yeah, anything throwaway in storytelling is like shit that you should take out. Because if it ends up just being a dangling thing, like by the end of the story, like take that shit out. Like just take it out. And even going back to like how like the deaths are supposed to basically drive the story or even help like, help it become like a central focal point for it. Like in Attack on Titan, Eren's mom straight up like gets eaten in front of him. And that causes him to like basically go on this genocidal rage against all the Titans. And it one of the rare times where like I literally saw someone like not only want revenge, but like he literally also saw like just genocide happen to like his people. Like he literally saw his entire town die in front of him. And Batman also saw his two parents get shot right in front of him. And his parents were his whole world. And I always imagined what would have happened if Alfred got shot in front of him. Because, like,
probably just
Alfred's his only other father left. Like, father figure, I guess.
Oh, you're saying if it was I thought you were saying if it was Alfred instead of his parents. I'd just be like, he's an adult and be like, yeah, my butler died when I was a kid.
But, like,
Alfred sucked at the time, but, like...
But Alfred was still, like, a father figure to him.
Yeah.
Like, Bruce never really got to see his parents too often because they were always working and shit.
Well... As riveting and somber as this topic is,
parents have to die
of dead parents. What do you think? What do you think, fellas? Is it time to wrap?
Dead parents make good stories.
It could be. I mean, a note on dead parents. I mean, it's not like you're gonna go out with your parents are gonna die at some time, and so are you, right? So I guess if they do, might as well get something out of it, right? If you become like a crazy vigilante with lots of money, like why not?
Or a genocidal maniac.
Yeah, whichever way life brings you.
Whatever floats your boat, man. Just whatever you do, just slay queen. Yeah.
It's like your parents are up in heaven. They just see you like killing mad people. It's like, oh, we're so proud of you, honey.
As long as you're living your authentic best life, whatever that may look like.
She's my friend. I have to support her.
If it's genocide, do you, honey?
Yeah, you do what you gotta do.
Slay queen. All right. Well, unless you fellas have anything else on your mind you want to talk about, we could wrap.
I want these paninis. I might try them, but they're only included for breakfast.
Oh, really?
From 5 a.m. to 11 a.m.
Fuck, I actually really want Wawa myself now. I'm very hungry, but I should not spend money on food for no reason.
They got free coffees. Free Coffee Tuesdays are back too for all you rewards members. I'm actually a rewards member, but I've never pulled out that card in my life.
Yo, imagine needing like a Wawa thing for free coffee.
Yo, imagine Wawa
couldn't be me. That'd be too hype. I would probably like roll over and just like a dog and let them pat my belly. Whatever they wanted to do, just be like, please sponsor my podcast.
I'd let them fuck me.
Like the entity of Wawa.
Yeah, if Wawa was a person, I'd let it fuck me. I always imagined Wawa to be like a pretty thick girl, though. I don't know why, but like I can't imagine as a
There's
dude.
A lot of unhealthy stuff in Wawa. There's a lot of shakes and desserts.
Yeah, it's just like a really like husky TLC looking fat chick. Like
my 1,000-pound life.
Yeah, basically.
She's definitely beautiful though. Good old.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
When you close your eyes, she sounds beautiful. Until she gets closer and you hear her breathing like.
God.
Oh, but they do look good, the paninis. I'm sorry. I'm like on their website right now. They look pretty good. They got Southwest Chipotle bacon egg, Cali style cheesy turkey bacon egg.
Shut up.
Onion cheese
Shut
steak.
the fuck up. I'm so hungry.
Fuck you, David. Spicy garlic Italian.
Oh my god.
And Southwest Chipotle
Kick
turkey.
this guy from the call.
Or you could create your own.
Oh, I can do that.
Yeah.
I can.
And David, you live pretty close to the Wawa in Little Ferry. I think maybe it's in Hackensack. I always get Little Ferry and Hackensack confused, but like, I think you live pretty close to it.
Wawa's more than anything else just remind me of like post Smash tournament like experiences, driving around in the middle of the night with my boys and then going to Wawa's. It's like those are times that I yearn for more than anything else. If anything fucked me up lots of stuff fucked me up about the pandemic, but like socializing is not something I'm ever gonna take for granted ever again.
Oh, I also got that wrong. The breakfast ones that I listed off, the first two, those are 5 to 11. But there are ones you can enjoy anytime, which was the onion cheesesteak, the spicy garlic Italian, and the Southwest Chipotle turkey.
Thank you,
can get those
sponsor
anytime.
Tic Tac Dick of Wawa, telling me all about the codes.
Brought to you by Wawa. Oh my god, I wish we could say that and actually like get sponsored for it. Fuck. Wawa, sponsor us. Support your local podcasts.
One day. So, unless anybody else has anything else to say, you guys want to wrap?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
All right, yes, sir. Well, we got actually not even just the Rise slide today, Chris. I'll go to this one in a minute, but first of all, imagine actually needing a Wawa membership for free coffee. Couldn't be me. You already know what it is. Rise Cold Brew are official sponsors of the Double D experience. You already know. You've got all these flavors on screen right now. You got the oat milk vanilla, the oat milk mocha. You got the original black classic latte London fog tea. And if that's not your thing, we also have oat milk and original vanilla and chocolate flavor. All of that stuff you can get for 10% off using discount code Nintoonist with using specifically the special referral link below. The code will not work otherwise, and not only will you get a discount, but we will receive a commission of those sales as well. So if you want to directly support the Double D experience while getting yourself some pretty gosh diddly darn tasty beverages in the meantime, you know where to go. And Chris, I guess I'll need you to send me this one. It's so weird. It's usually like ass backwards the other way around. You sending me slides?
Yeah, I could send you anything you want.
Mm-hmm. We got our community gaming event coming up this Sunday. What was that called again, Chris?
It is called Northeast Arena.
Northeast Arena. It's being brought to you by the wonderful people at Community Gaming. Listen, I know me and Dennis dick on Facebook a lot. This event will be streamed on Facebook. Actually, as part of the many events that we've done with Community Gaming, they do some pretty wonderful stuff. It's a Smash tournament with a $1,000 prize pool. $1,000 pot right there. You want to come and own your skills, and get yourself streamed on Facebook Gaming for that much money? Guys, that's more than I make in a lifetime. So come in and do that. I'm gonna be commentating this event, likely the upper blocks with Stu, the announcer. This is an event that's being brought to you production-wise by Chriselodeon here. So if you guys like what you heard tonight, we definitely won't be saying any of the shit we said on this podcast in that it's kind of environment, so you're shit out of luck. But if you like me, if you like Chriselodeon, if you like Smash, come around and give this event a watch. It's gonna be a lot of fun, this one coming around. It's gonna be on Facebook Gaming. All the links will be on the screen and in the description below. So, yeah, I think with that said, we're pretty much done here. Chris, you got anything else you need to say?
No, man, thank you guys for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
of course.
Nothing to promote. No,
Sponsored by Wawa.
No workout routines. No Mega Mans. No.
Do you work out while playing Mega Man?
No other events.
I wish. The thing is, man, is a lot of my work at this point, I take a lot of contracting work now or whatever, where I haven't been promoting my own channel as much because it's more viable to create something and then put it in a place where it'll actually monetize and I could sustain a little more so what I'm doing. So I don't really have anything too direct to shill. Yeah.
Except Wawa.
Yeah, except Wawa.
What? We all like Wawa here. We all stand Wawa. Come on.
Yeah, I can't fight you on that.
Yeah.
All right. We got getting a knock on the door.
Yep.
Who is it?
I believe it's my brother.
Is it mail time? Is it like the mailman from Blue's Clues?
I'm on my podcast.
All right. Well, we're pretty much done here anyway. So. Wait, what is he saying?
Oh, we're getting Chinese
We're,
today.
we're getting Dennis's dinner order. Hold up, this is important.
Yeah, we're getting Chinese food today.
Yo, can you get me like some sesame chicken? Dennis's brother.
He already left.
Fuck.
Wait, how the fuck would you even get it?
I'd drive over. I don't know.
I'm not gonna fucking hand you over Chinese food.
Why not?
That's my Chinese food.
All right, well, fine. I mean, I was gonna pay for it. My local Chinese place shut down, so because of the pandemic, very sad.
Wow, really?
Yep.
Those places almost never shut down.
Yep. Well, you can follow us on Twitter and on our Instagram, which we have at all the links down in the description below, doing our stuff. We've been a little more active on the Twitter, not as much the Instagram, but meh, social media, we already ranted about it. That shit's dumb, bucket, stupid. We only use it because we need to. But other than that, we are done. Dennis, what do you have to say to the people?
Go to Wawa, buy the sandwiches.
Hell yeah. All right. Let's off. Bye. Bye, everyone.